Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. The new musical Amazing Grace has come to Broadway's Nederlander Theater, and I'm here on the opening night red carpet.
Yeah.
So what have you heard about tonight's show?
Oh, just beautiful things. You know, and I have a lot of friends in the show, from Scarlett Pimpernel, from Leslie from Bonnie and Clyde. So, you know, just trying to support the troops always.
Did you know the story about Amazing Grace at all, being a songwriter?
A little bit, but like a lot of great titles, you kind of know the sketch and not the real thing. But Gabe has educated me, so I'm very anxious to see it tonight.
Was this a song you knew growing up?
Not only was it a song growing up, when we did Civil War on Broadway, every person had to audition with Amazing Grace. That's a true story. Everybody.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Because when you sing Amazing Grace, especially a cappella, you know what's in there.
Oh, you're going to have the best time tonight then when you hear them sing this on stage.
I'm sure I am.
Well, so what's brought you here tonight?
Well,
This
Amazing
wonderful
Grace.
play. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. I mean, I've been doing a lot of faith-based movies over the last 5-6 years, and What If, God's Not Dead, Abel's Field. We did one together recently. It just came out now called Hope Bridge. So it's kind of nice to see. Wow, a faith-based play is opening on Broadway. So.
I mean, I had no idea about the history of this song. Did you know that John Newton had written this song?
Yeah. Well, somebody told me, I don't know, we didn't talk about that much, but there was a movie about this. I don't remember a movie of this. Do you know anything?
I don't know anything about a movie, but when I heard that they were telling his story, he's got an incredible story, and that's why the song Amazing Grace resonates with people.
Well, everybody knows it.
You might not know why it's so important, but because it's so important is why it's resonated so strongly over the years.
Well, what's amazing is atheist, agnostic, Christian, whatever it may be, everybody knows that song.
Yeah.
They know that song. And it can mean something to anybody no matter where their beliefs are.
Well, let's talk about the story of this song. I knew this song inside out. I had no idea about the history.
Yeah.
It's such a fascinating story. Did you know the story?
I did. I learned it maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, actually. And I thought, wow, like everybody else, when you hear how the song came about, it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize that.
You know, I spoke to Frank Wildhorn, and he said, did he not only know the song, everybody who auditioned for Civil War had to sing that song. That was the audition song for the callback.
Yeah, it's a great tune. And if you can,
you know how perfect the voice can be, I guess, when you sing something like this, right? Because you were talking about the notes.
yeah, exactly. And also, there's a spirit that comes through people's voices when they sing a song like this. And this is one of those songs that has its own spirit. And if a person shares that spirit with that song, that all comes through together. And I think that's maybe what people look for as well.
So here we are. What's brought you here tonight?
I have friends who work on the show who said you must come see it, so I'm really happy to see it. And I don't know anything other than it's about the man who wrote Amazing Grace and who was an abolitionist.
What have you heard?
I heard it's really great, and I'm really excited.
When were you first aware of a song, Amazing Grace? Do you remember? I mean, everybody seems to have that in their DNA.
Well, I grew up in the South in the 50s, and so you heard it all the time, partly through the Civil Rights Movement, and, as anthematic of that great struggle. But I think everybody's, was just in the common consciousness. I don't ever remember not hearing it.
You look very dapper.
Thank you. All smoke and mirrors. You know the story of Dorian Gray? Inside, I'm rotting away.
I think we all are.
It's just, it's like a festering cesspool of moral decay.
Oh, I see a musical in that, right? A dark new musical.
That's my middle name, Dark.
Oh, you're far from dark. What's brought you here tonight?
I love Gabe Barry. My dear friend Liz Ward-Land is in it, who I did Pimpernel with. She and her husband are friends, and they asked me to come as their date. I'm big on three-ways. I'm single now. And anything that brings in money. And I love listening to Josh Young's voice, and I think the story sounds interesting. And it's the only place I could find a urinal. No, I'm kidding on that part. I love it. I love the
big
music.
bathroom. They have a beautiful big bathroom here at the Nederlander.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll let you know.
All right. So you're here tonight for Dad.
Yeah.
Have you been to the show already?
No, we haven't seen it.
No, yeah, this is our first time
It's our
seeing
first
it.
time. Yeah.
What's kept you away?
Well, it was in Chicago.
I was in Chicago.
And we just wanted to come for the opening night and see the whole.
Waiting for the big night.
Yeah.
Yeah, waiting to come all together.
Yeah.
I know you've all been busy working. What has Dad told you about the show?
that it has transformed completely since he started it and when they did it in Chicago. And it's unbelievable that this writer is his first show. It's just fantastic and so exciting.
I'm really excited to see it. He says it's the most difficult role he's ever worked on. It's really like, it hits home, and it's been a real journey for him. So I'm excited to finally see it.
And a really great message for today. I think it's really relevant to today.
What brought you here tonight?
Well, I want to see a great show. I want to be inspired. I want to learn about history. I don't know much about the story. I know a little bit, but I'm excited to learn more.
That's the great thing.
This period in history as well.
I knew nothing about who wrote this. It's an incredible story about the man, John Newton, who wrote this incredible song.
Well, that's the great thing. I love going to see a show where I don't want to know too much. I want to be surprised. So that's where I am. I'm very excited.
Do you remember the first time you knew about the song Amazing Grace? Because, you don't have to be of any faith. Everybody seems to know this song, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I must have learned it in church when I was a kid. And I loved the song. I used to sing it all the time, actually. It's one of those songs that we hum to ourselves. Yeah.
So, what has brought you here tonight?
We're excited about the premiere of Amazing Grace. Can't wait to see it. I'm also here with my daughter, Catherine. She's 13, has never seen a Broadway show, and I think this is the perfect one to let her get her first experience in New York.
When were you first aware of the song Amazing Grace? Do you remember?
Well, I was very young. I grew up in the church. My father was a minister, so Amazing Grace has been part of our family's heritage and faith, and certainly shares our worldview that ultimately we're all sinners and we're all in need of God's grace. And so when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, it made all the difference in my life.
But it's funny, even people who don't have faith know this song too. Don't you agree?
Amazing Grace is a song that's permeated the culture. And I think that it's recognizable all over the place, in part because of the way it has impacted people. And I think this musical will be impactful as well.
What have you heard about the show?
I've heard good things about the show. I've heard, business people that came going, okay, and then went, wow, I had a great time. So I think there's room for all of us on Broadway. There always should be.
Did you know the story of John Newton writing this song?
No, I know the song. Don't we all? Sort of.
Do you remember when you first heard it? I think I was like 6 years old when I first heard it.
I honestly can't remember, but I will tell you this. In the dressing room of Personals at the Minetta Lane Theater, Travel Back With Me, 1985 or 6, was one dressing room with a curtain down the middle. 3 girls on one side, Nancy Opal, Dora Dean, Dee Hodes. 3 men on the other side, Trey Wilson, may he rest in peace, Jason Alexander, and Jeff. Jeff Keller. And at 15, Laura Dean, when they would call 15 minutes, Laura Dean would sing Amazing Grace. And we all harmonized with her. And every time I hear that song, I think of her and that moment and the show and the thing. And I don't know, I've sung it at funerals. And it's such a beautiful hymn. And to have Obama sing it, 2 weeks ago, was like, who orchestrated that?
What brought you two here tonight?
Gabe Barry.
Gabe Barry. And even if Gabe wasn't involved with the show, we would be seeing this anyway. But Gabe is a very dear friend of ours, and we've supported him and this project for all the years that he has been involved with it. We actually came to the second preview, and we know that they've worked on it extensively since then, and we're dying to see how it's improved since then. But we just love the show so much just from that second preview that we're imagining we're going to get blown away tonight.
Oh, I think you will.
Yeah.
So, what do you remember about that second preview, and what moved you the most that night?
Oh, I think just realizing that story is absolutely true. It's a true story of this man, and it's almost unbelievable because it's just so out there. I don't want to give away the plot, but the things that this man has gone through to find his enlightenment and to realize that he spent the rest of his life for the abolitionist movement. It's a man who literally had an epiphany and changed his life, and then he wrote this song, and we all got to sing it together at the end, and I thought that moment when we all sang it together on the audience was really special. How often do you feel that in an audience where everybody's on the same page? And I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. I really don't.